It'll go right through the newspapers. How do you like those potatoes?
No, not that, McGee. They'll make an issue of it. They'll ruin me.
And how about all those people you're going to murder?
Yeah.
Those aren't people, they're statues.
Huh?
We're chopping up some old iron statues in the park and turning them in for scrap metal. Now get out, both of you!
Stay tuned for two of the greats, the Great Gildersleeve and Fibber McGee and Molly. Hello there, this is Victor Ives inviting you to join me now for the golden age of radio theater. This is the program where we turn back the clock and relive the golden moments of radio's yesteryear and bring you the greatest radio shows of all time. We've got two great comedy shows for you, probably the best examples of radio situation comedy. The Great Gildersleeve from 1944 and Fibber McGee and Molly from 1942. This is going to be a lot of fun. First, from June 4th, 1944, Gildy throws out the first baseball. Eve Goodwin's mother comes to visit. And this is a program which continues the sequence in which Gildy runs for mayor.
The Great Gildersleeve. Each week at this time, from Hollywood, California, Harold Peary as the Great Gildersleeve.
Now let's see how things are going with the Great Gildersleeve in his campaign for mayor. He's really hit his stride this week. He's made personal appearances at smokers, rallies, bridge luncheons, on street corners, and even at a fire that broke out in Frank Crutch's ice house. And for every occasion, he's had a ready song. Today, we find him with his niece and nephew in the honor box at the ballpark, leading a little singing before tossing out the first ball.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. So it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Oh, thank you. I'd just like to say, ladies and gentlemen, that nothing is closer to my heart than the great American game of baseball. Yes, sir, I'd like nothing better than to be right out there on that field with you boys today, knocking that old horsehide around. Why, I grew up in sandlot baseball.
What position did you play, Commissioner?
Well, they always made me catcher, friend. Maybe because Mother Nature gave me my own chest protector.
That ain't all she gave you.
Well, seriously, folks, baseball is a great institution. I haven't much use for any man who isn't a baseball fan. In fact, I wouldn't even trust a man who doesn't like baseball. By the way, where is my opponent, Mayor Terwilliger? I don't seem to see him here today.
That's telling him much.
I don't mean to imply that His Honor doesn't know how to play baseball. He'll play ball with anybody, ladies and gentlemen. He's proved that. And he's stolen plenty of bases when the taxpayers weren't looking either. However...
Oh, let's get on with the game.
Yes, you're right, my friend. Let's have the ball, Leroy.
Here, let's see how far you can heave it.
Don't you worry about that, my boy. Ready out there?
Yeah, come on.
Oh, brother, what a wind-up.
Play ball.
Hey! The ball!
Look, duck, lady, duck.
Oh, you almost hit a woman.
Sorry, madam. A little out of training, I'm afraid. Toss it out in the field, somebody.
You must have been some pitcher, Unc.
I told you, Leroy, I was a catcher.
How did you ever throw to second?
I always put him out at first. Now shut up and let's watch the game.
Can I buy a hot dog?
It's too early in the game to start that.
Well, if I buy it with my own money, can I, huh, Unc? Can I, huh?
You haven't got any money and you know it.
Oh, yeah? You want to see it? I got 15 cents left over from... Hey, I did have it. I had it right in my pocket. Somebody stole it. I have 15 cents right here in my pants.
Now, don't get excited, Leroy. Empty your pocket first.
If you didn't carry so much junk around.
Yes. Ye gods, Leroy.
Well, I need it. That's all valuable stuff.
A knife, skate key, pebbles, rusty nail, rubber band, eraser, old hinge, marble, Wilkie button. What's this envelope, Leroy?
Oh, that?
Yes, that. It's addressed to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a note from Miss Goodwin. I forgot to give it to you.
When did she give you this, young man?
I guess it must have been yesterday.
Huh?
Or maybe it was the day before.
Oh, my goodness.
It's all right, Unc. I found it.
It's not all right, Leroy. When you're asked to deliver a note, you should deliver it.
But I found the 15 cents
Yep.
in the other pocket. Now can I buy a hot dog, can I?
I don't care what you do.
Oh, boy, one side, Marge. Careful. Well, pulling your big feet.
Yes.
What does the note say, Uncle Mort?
I don't know. I'm just reading it, Marjorie. Marjorie?
I wasn't reading it.
Gosh, if this note is 2 days old, I don't know what she must be thinking. I better get over there right now.
Oh, look, they're going to start the game. Who gets the bat first, Uncle Mort? Uncle Mort? Uncle Mort! Where did he go?
You're listening to the Great Gildersleeve on the Golden Age of Radio Theater. Now, back to Hal Perry.
Dear Throckmorton, it seems as if I'd hardly seen you for weeks. I know you've been busy with your campaign, and I'm very proud of you. I've been busy, too, working late every afternoon. But couldn't we play a little hooky together just once? She misses me. Besides, I have some good news for you. So let's try to get together real soon. Your loving Eve. Well, I'm not the man to keep her waiting.
Come in.
My name is Throckmorton. I was told to come to the principal's office.
Oh, Throckmorton, you silly.
Miss Benson sent me down here because I was a bad boy. I'm the worst boy in 6A.
Oh, really? Well, what did you do that was naughty?
I kissed every girl in the room except Miss Benson.
Oh, well, that's terrible. Stand in the corner and recite the multiplication table 100 times.
Oh, Eve, we can think of something that's more fun than that, can't we? Are you through with your work?
Well, not quite.
Now, be fair, Eve. As soon as Leroy gave me your note, I dropped my work.
What were you doing?
Watching a ball game. Come on, Eve. It's a beautiful day. Let me take you home. I'll carry your books.
Well...
Come on. I'll even buy you soda. I'll hold your hand under the counter.
That's enough. Throckmorton, what are you doing?
Oh, nothing.
Well, you're walking so peculiarly, I can't keep in step with you.
Oh, I'm trying to step on all the cracks.
Oh, my goodness, a grown man.
Well, Eve, don't you ever do things like that?
Never.
You miss a lot of fun. Sometimes I step on all the cracks, and sometimes I try not to step on any. It's fun to walk with your eyes shut, too. You want to see me?
No.
I'll show you what's even more fun than that, if I can find a stick.
Throckmorton, I don't know what's come over you.
Yeah, here's a stick that's made to order, Eve.
All right, what are you going to do with it?
Well, I could spank you, but I won't.
You better not.
Wait till we come to Mr. Lawler's picket fence.
Well, of all the ways to entertain a girl.
What can I do? I can't kiss you here in the street. Or can I?
No.
Well, all right, then. Listen to this.
Let me try it.
Sure, go ahead.
I must say it's more fun than I thought.
What'd I tell you?
Wish there was more fence.
Huh? There'll be some more a little farther along, Eve. Let's hold hands and skip. What do you say?
Throckmorton, I'm the principal of the Summerfield Grammar School.
That's nothing. I'm the water commissioner. Come on.
Oh, Throckmorton, you're impossible today.
What do I care?
Throckmorton, I don't understand you.
Huh? What do you mean, Eve?
You're not human. I told you in my note that I had some news for you, and you haven't even asked what it is.
I forgot all about it. What is it?
Oh, I don't think I'll tell you now.
That's no fair, Eve. Now you got me all curious. Come on, what is it?
No, I don't feel like telling.
Please, Eve.
No.
Will you tell me if I buy you a soda? Here's the drugstore.
I might.
Come on, then.
But I might not.
Oh, look, Mr. Peavy's got a new sign in the window. Fresh strawberry sundaes guaranteed to please.
Well, talented, Eve. Will a strawberry sundae make you talk?
If it's good, it will.
It'll be good, and I hope it makes you talk better than this. After you, my love.
Well, good afternoon, Miss Goodwin.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Peavy. We want 2 of your fresh strawberry sundaes. Now, if you don't like them, we want our money back.
I think you'll find them very enjoyable. I had quite a run on them today.
Oh? Here, sit down here, Eve. We'll watch the great artist at work.
Thank you.
Darn it, Peavy, why don't you put some booths for your soda customers? Can't you afford a booth?
Well, I've got a phone booth.
All right, we'll have our sundaes in there. How about it, Eve?
Isn't he awful, Mr. Peavy?
Oh, he's only joking, Miss Goodwin. He can't get in the phone booth himself, let alone entertaining. Here's your sundaes, folks. You'll like a few chopped nuts sprinkled on top?
Oh, yes.
It's a nickel extra.
Oh, that's all right, Peavy. I feel like throwing money around today anyway.
Well, glad you dropped in. You don't happen to need any staple drug items like aspirin?
Yeah, now, don't try to sell me the store, Peavy. I came in here to make this lady talk. This strawberry sundae is supposed to loosen her tongue.
I think maybe it will, too. This is delicious, Mr. Peavy.
Thank you, ma'am. Miss Goodwin keeping a secret from you, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Yeah, she's trying to, Peavy. I ask you, is that a nice thing for a man's fiancée to do?
Well, it's customary. The ladies like having their little secrets. Every so often, Mrs. Peavy gets some little piece of information about one of the neighbors and holds on to it.
Oh? Just devils you with it, eh, Peavy?
Well, she likes to tease me a little. Just a few days ago, for instance, she had an item on Mr. Wheeler. He lives 2 doors down from us.
Charlie Wheeler? Oh, what was it, Peavy?
Well, I can't tell you that, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah, you don't have to. Poor old Charlie. I bet it was something about it.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Throckmorton.
You're right, though, Mr. Gildersleeve. It was that little habit.
Mr. Peavy, why, you men are the worst gossips I ever saw.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I guess everybody likes hearing juicy little things about their neighbors.
Well, I'm certainly not interested. I scarcely know Mr. Wheeler. Of course, the Wheeler children are in school, and they're a bit of a problem. I know Mrs. Wheeler very slightly. Does he beat her?
I'll tell you if you tell me your secret, Eve. Come on, what is it?
Well, mine isn't gossip. Mine is just good news.
Oh, good news, eh? What is it?
My mother's coming to visit me tomorrow.
Huh?
Liz, is that all you have to say? I've told you how much Mother means to me, Throckmorton.
Oh, yes, I think it's fine that she's coming, Eve. Great. I can't wait to meet her.
I was hoping you could drive me over to Moore's Junction and meet her train tomorrow morning.
Oh, certainly. Fine. Glad to do it, Eve. How much are the sundaes, Peavy?
50 cents, Mr. Gildersleeve. That includes the nuts.
Nuts? Oh, yes. Well, here you are. All through, Eve?
Yes, thank you.
Gee, that's certainly fine about your mother. So long, Peavy. See you later.
Goodbye, Mr. Peavy.
Goodbye, Mr. Gildersleeve. Goodbye, Miss Goodwin. My, she never found out about Charlie Wheeler's little peculiarity. Well, for that piece of news she had, she didn't deserve to.
The Great Gildersleeve on the Golden Age of Radio Theater will continue in just a moment. Now back to June 4th, 1944, and the Great Gildersleeve.
Passing Gildersleeve's house, it would be apparent that something important is about to happen, because Gildersleeve is out in the driveway preparing to wash his car.
By George, I don't know how the old bus gets so dirty. I had it washed only last February.
Here's a sponge in the bucket, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Thank you, Bertie. And now we can get started.
We?
Ever washed a car, Bertie?
No, sir. Can't say that I have.
Oh, it's an experience, Bertie, an experience. Watch the way I do it. And you'll know how to do it yourself, if the occasion should ever arise.
Yes, sir. I can see it arising.
May seem like a simple thing, washing a car, Bertie, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do everything.
Yes, sir.
Now, the first step is to remove the dirt.
That sounds reasonable.
Watch closely now, Bertie. you observe that I take the sponge and immerse it in the water until saturated.
You do what?
I take the sponge and dunk it, Bertie. Now, with the sponge soaking wet, I start at the top of the car, and it's running down my sleeve, Bertie. It's cold.
You ought to roll up your sleeves, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, that's not so easy. I have my good clothes on. But you haven't any sleeves, Bertie.
I tell you, Mr. Gildersleeve, why don't you use the hose instead of the sponge? That would be easier and you wouldn't get so wet.
Hose. That's a good idea, Bertie. A very good idea. You're catching on very quickly. Drag it over here, will you?
Yes, I'll get it.
You seem to have a knack for this sort of thing, Bertie. I wouldn't be surprised if I could entrust the whole job to you before long.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Here you are.
Fine. Now you go turn it on.
Good afternoon, Throckmorton.
Leela. Well, hello.
Washing your car, Throckmorton?
Yeah, just washing the car. Oh,
gracious.
Look out. Stand back, Leela. You'll get all wet.
Now, don't you point that hose at me, Throckmorton, you hear?
Oh, I wouldn't, Leela.
Because if you did, I'd just never forgive you, understand? Don't you dare to squirt it at me.
Well, maybe I won't, maybe I will.
Now, Throckmorton.
Look out, Leela. Here I come.
Oh, no, protect me.
All right, turn it off, Bertie. Turn off the hose.
Throckmorton Gildersleeve, I declare you're the worst man.
I am.
That ain't getting the car washed, Mr. Gildersleeve.
No, it isn't, Bertie, but I'll get around to it.
Tell me, what are you washing your car for? You must be stepping out somewhere, huh?
Not exactly, Leela. Eve's mother is arriving tomorrow.
Oh, your mother-in-law.
No, she did. Well, I suppose she will be at that.
Oh, you poor boy. I know just how you feel.
Now, Leela, Eve's mother is not like that. Eve's mother is different. Eve's mother is very close to her. They're more like sisters.
How nice. You've met her then.
No, but Eve's told me all about her.
I see.
Shall I turn on the hose, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Just a minute, Bertie.
I've got to go now, Throckmorton, but I'd just like to say one thing.
Yes?
If you ever need someone to sympathize with you, if you ever need someone to turn to, remember, I'm right next door.
But I tell you, I like Eve's mother. Darn it, I like her.
Goodbye, Niall.
Turn on the hose, Bertie.
Okay, Miss Gildersleeve.
Hello, Leela. Leaving?
Yes, I'll have to, Judge.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, Gildy, washing your car.
What do you think I'm doing?
Taking a bath. Watch it, watch it.
Hold it, Bertie. Turn it off a minute.
That's a big occasion, Gildy.
What big occasion?
Washing the car. How come? Neighbors complain?
My mother-in-law is arriving in the morning.
Your mother-in-law?
Well, that is my mother-in-law-to-be.
Deepest sympathy, old man. Deepest sympathy.
She's only coming for a few days, Judge, and she's staying with her daughter. So there.
Uh-huh. Coming to town to look you over, huh?
Well, I suppose so. Only natural for a mother to want to know what kind of a man her daughter is marrying.
What are you going to do when she finds out?
Now listen, you old goat. Turn on the water, Bertie.
No, I didn't mean it, Gildy. Only joking.
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah. Run along, Judge, or by gosh, I'll let you have it.
Can't you take a joke?
Sure, can't you? Dance, Judge,
No.
dance.
No.
What's going on, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Oh, hello, Peavy. What's that you say?
What's going on? You washing your car?
Can't hear you. I'm washing my car. Turn it off, Bertie. Now, what'd you say, Peavy?
I see you're washing your car.
Yes, Peavy, I'm washing my car.
Planning to take the family out for a little spin, Mr. Gildersleeve?
No, Peavy. I'm planning to go down and meet my future mother-in-law at the train tomorrow morning. I want the car to look nice.
Mother-in-law, huh?
And no remarks, see?
Oh, I wasn't going to make any remark.
Well, everybody else has.
I have a mother-in-law myself. That is, I did up to the time she passed on.
Well, my mother-in-law isn't like most mother-in-laws, Peavy. My mother-in-law is different.
And that's what I used to say. Mother Horsefall, I always called her. She liked to have me call her mother. My wife's name was Horsefall.
I hope so.
And so was her mother's.
Yeah.
Mother Horsefall.
Mother Horsefall.
I've always had a sneaking fondness for the old girl.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say so, Peavy.
Yes, we got along pretty well for the first few months, but after that... well, such is life. With that thought, Mr. Gildersleeve, I'll leave you. Good day.
Good day, Peavy. The idea.
Miss Gildersleeve, how about it?
Let it go, Bertie. Why can't they let me alone? Why can't they let me polish my car? Oh, the devil with a car. Let the old lady ride in it the way it is.
Just think, Throckmorton, I haven't seen Mother in almost a year.
Oh, that's all?
Well, I'm excited, aren't you?
You bet.
I was hoping you'd find time to wash the car.
Oh, well, I was going to, but some things came up.
How much farther is it to the station?
Another 4 or 5 miles. We got lots of time.
I wouldn't want to be late.
Don't worry. How about a little kiss just to pass the time, Eve?
Oh, now, dear, please be sensible, not while you're driving.
All right.
Why are we stopping?
You said to be sensible. Now, how about a kiss?
Throckmorton, you think of making love at the strangest times.
What's strange about 10 o'clock in the morning?
But we're hurrying to meet a train. Please, Throckmorton, I'd just die if we were late.
We can't possibly.
Please. Please, darling.
Just one kiss?
Just one.
Oh, you're wonderful.
The train is due at 10:27, dear.
How can you be thinking about timetables?
Well, after all, it's my mother. We must go on, Throckmorton.
All right. Well, that's funny.
Is the ignition on?
Oh, sure. I'll choke her a little. She must be flooded. This old bus gets that way once in a while.
She does?
Yeah, but don't worry. I know her like a book. Just have to let her sit there for a minute.
I wish we hadn't stopped.
Now, Eve, there's nothing to worry about. 30 seconds and we'll be on our merry way.
Well, you can't blame me for being nervous. Can't you try it now?
Too soon, Eve. I know this car like a book.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, give it a few seconds more. Now, she'll start off like a B-24.
Is the ignition on?
Oh, yes, it's on. Well, just have to look under the hood, I guess. Check a few things.
Oh, dear, this is awful.
This won't take a second, my dear.
Are you sure there's gas in the tank?
Oh, yeah, I put in 2 gallons just this morning. The needle isn't even touching the E.
What are you pounding?
Don't worry, I fixed it this way once before. You just leave it to me, my dear. Men understand such things.
That's what men think.
What's that, Eve?
Oh, nothing. Please hurry, Throckmorton.
Ye gods, what can I do? Do you want me to give you a piggyback ride to Moore's Junction?
Well, there's no need to lose your temper, Throckmorton. I just thought if you'd stopped some car that's going by, there might be someone who could help you.
I'm perfectly capable of finding the trouble, Eve, and I can fix it, too. So just relax, for heaven's sake.
Very well, Throckmorton.
Leave me alone a minute so I can concentrate.
Oh, dear, poor Mother. Throckmorton!
I know, I heard it. Oh, for heaven's sake. What's it now, Eve?
Do you realize my mother's been sitting in that station for half an hour?
Yes, and I wish you were sitting there with her.
Oh!
I didn't mean that, Eve. It kind of slipped out. I'm doing the best I can, Eve.
Haven't you found out what's wrong yet?
Well, no, but if I...
For goodness sake. It seems to me that... What's that wire hanging down there?
Wire? Well, what wire?
This one. It ought to go somewhere. It could go right here.
No, Eve. That's part of the radio.
I don't think so. Hook it on here.
Huh?
There. Now why don't you try the starter?
It couldn't be that.
Well, try it, Throckmorton.
Well, all right, Eve. Couldn't possibly be that. No, afraid it's not that. I didn't think so.
Did you have the ignition on, Throckmorton?
Ignition? Oh. Oh, my goodness. Well, what do you know about that? Some people are born lucky.
Oh, dear, there's not a soul around the station. I just know the train got in hours ago.
It wasn't due till 10:27.
If anything's happened to Mother, I'll never forgive you. Never.
Nothing's happened to your mother, Eve. She'll be around somewhere if she's got any sense.
That's right. Blame the whole thing on Mother.
Eve, I'm not blaming it on anybody. I just... Look, could that be her?
Where?
Over there, sitting on the barrel.
Mother, we're here.
Eve, darling.
Oh, thank goodness.
How long have you waited?
Oh, not long.
Oh, I thought you'd never get here.
Well, I looked around, and when I didn't see you, I just said to myself, I don't... Oh, this, I suppose, it must be.
Yes, this is Throckmorton.
Mr. Gildersleeve, my daughter has written me so much about you.
Well, favorable, I hope.
Oh, yes. Oh, very. Oh, dear, yes. Why, she wrote me only...
Throckmorton.
Huh? Oh, her bag.
Oh,
yes.
I'm afraid they're terribly heavy.
Can't be too heavy for me. The car is this way. I feel I ought to apologize to you for being so late.
Oh, not at all. It just gave me time to finish my magazine.
You see, something went wrong.
The whole thing was Throckmorton's fault. If he hadn't insisted on stopping, the car would never have stalled. And if he'd used his head and done as I asked him to, we wouldn't have been all day getting started.
But, Eve...
I was never so curious with anyone in my life.
Why, Eve Goodwin, I don't think that's a nice way to talk about a nice man like Mr. Gildersleeve. Here he's carrying my bags, and he's driven all the way down here to meet me. I think that's very nice of him indeed.
Oh, but, Mother, you don't understand.
I think Mr. Gildersleeve seems like just about the nicest son-in-law anyone ever had.
Yeah. You know, Mrs. Goodwin.
Call me Mother.
You know, Mother, I've been telling people you're not like other mother-in-laws. You're different. And by George, you are. Why, if you were 20 years younger, or if I were 20 years older...
Yes?
But we're not, are we? Maybe we better be getting along. Dear Diary, well, you have to expect these little misunderstandings, I guess. Guess you have to take the bitter with the sweet. That's part of the fun of being in love. Give and take. That's what real love is based on. Gosh, you can't really be in love with a girl if you get all upset over every little thing. Who was it said that forgiveness is the greatest of all virtues? Well, I forgive her. But by George, she's not going to tell me how to run my car. Good night.
And that's the Great Gildersleeve from June 4th, 1944. You're listening to the Golden Age of Radio Theater. And now we're going to listen to Fibber McGee and Molly from November the 10th, 1942. In this show, McGee becomes a youth counselor and passes out some advice.
The way to a man's heart may be through his stomach. But if you want to take a shortcut, go through his ego. As witness, Mrs. Uppington talking to Fibber McGee and Molly.
So what did you tell your nephew, Uppy?
I told him to come and see you, Mr. McGee.
Oh, fine.
That you were just the man to give him some advice on how to get on in the world and to make something of himself. You don't mind?
Oh.
Mind. Look at him, Abigail. He's as proud and happy as a man who doesn't own a car, can't eat sugar, and hates coffee.
You send that boy to me, Uppy. I'll put him straight.
Oh, splendid, Mr. McGee, splendid. He's not a bad boy, just at loose ends.
What do you mean, loose ends, Abigail?
Well, the last I knew, he was a cook in a spaghetti place.
Oh, I see. Loose ends. I see what you mean. Well, how's he for the Army and Navy, Uppy?
Oh, he's tried many times to enlist, Mr. McGee, but they've always turned him down.
Why?
Oh, for mere boyish pranks. Forgery, for one thing.
Forgery? You call forgery a boyish prank? What's murder to you? Disorderly conduct?
Oh, but it was a boyish prank in this case, Mr. McGee.
Yeah?
He wanted the Army to think he would be a good soldier, so he signed his application, Ulysses S. Grant.
Well, I can understand that, Abigail, but why did the Navy refuse him?
His reflexes were too good.
Too good?
Yes. When they tapped him on the knee with that little rubber hammer, he kicked the doctor right in the jaw.
A simple case of overenthusiasm.
He tried for the Marines, Uppy?
Indeed he did, Mr. McGee, but he was turned down for deafness.
Deafness, eh?
Yes. It seems he didn't hear them when they told him to put the sergeant's watch back where he got it.
I think the boy is just full of high spirits, Abigail, and maybe just a touch of larceny.
Well, I can handle him, Uppy. I'll make him brace up and act like a man. I'll tell him how I started out as a ragged little newsboy. saved my money, went to night school.
McGee.
Huh?
Remember, this is Tuesday.
So what?
Meatless day.
Huh?
Save the bologna.
Well, I'll send him over here this evening, Mr. McGee, and you give him a good talking to. He thinks very highly of you.
Just leave it to me, Effie. It's obvious the boy just got in with a tough crowd, that's all. Associated with the wrong people. How does he spend his spare time?
Playing pool, I believe.
Oh, my. With whom, Abigail?
Well, I don't know all of them, of course. But he says a week ago Saturday he took Mr. McGee for $1.45.
A week ago Saturday, I don't remember that.
Look, my ragged little newsboy. Aren't you getting a little out of your depth?
What you mean, out of my depth?
Setting yourself up to giving young men advice. Who do you think you are, Horace Gridley?
That was Horace Greeley.
Well, you know me. I don't know one horse from another. Anyway, now, when her nephew comes over here tonight, I hope you... Say, what's his name?
His name? Oh, you know his name. His name is... Now, wait a minute now.
You should know it. You played pool with him, she said.
Doggone it, I don't know everybody I played pool with.
That's the trouble. You're associating with the wrong crowd. Bad company. Say, incidentally, when did you ever go to night school?
Well, it was just the same as night school. They kept me in so often I never got home till after dark. What is that guy's name? Shucks, I know his name as well as I do my own.
And what is your name?
My name is, now, wait a minute. I got it right here on my driver's license. Fibber McGee.
Oh. How do you do?
Very glad to make... Oh, cut it out. I'm trying to think. I got to think of that kid's name. Oh, I know.
What?
I'm going to go down to that spaghetti place where he works and get some dope on him. I'll be right back.
Wait a minute, I'll go with you.
Huh?
You'll forget his name before you get home. Is there any gasoline in the car?
Yeah, but it's got 2 flat tires. I'll call a cab.
Oh, now, McGee, spending all that money just...
Molly, this is worth it. A boy's future is at stake. It's a great responsibility. Why, when I think how I struggled up the ladder of success, scrimping and saving and burning the midnight oil to... Hey, where are you going?
To get my hat. Mrs. Uppington's nephew may have to listen to that malarkey, but I don't. You call a cab. I'll be right down, dearie.
Ah, boy, what a chance to be a good influence in a kid's life. Now, look here, son, I'll say. Every clean, living, red-blooded American boy has got...
Hi, mister.
Beat it, sis. I haven't got time to talk to you today. I got a mold of character.
Oh.
You see, my boy, us men who have reached the top of the ladder...
Hey, mister.
Quit shaking the ladder. I mean... Look, sis, will you please...
Hey, do you know Bob Hope, mister?
Why, sure I know Bob Hope. Why?
Is he nice?
Why, he's great, sis. There ain't a guy in show business that gives more of his time and his work to a good cause than Bob Hope.
Oh.
He's not only a sincere American, but he's a great comedian. And he's got one of the best radio shows on... Hey, what am I saying? Why do you want to know about Bob Hope, sis?
Well, maybe I better tell you first, mister, that the Junior Red Cross is calling for new members between November 1st and 15th.
Well, that's fine, but I don't suppose...
And it's up to us kids to show we're interested in it so we can get our teachers to introduce it in our classroom activities, I betcha.
Well, good for you, sis. But what does Bob Hope
It's
got?
awful important, mister.
Huh?
Gee, did you know that ever since President Wilson started it in the last war, the Junior Red Cross has grown to be the biggest organization for us kids in the world?
Well, that goes without saying, sis.
You're too late. I already said it.
I know, but what I meant to
Did you know
say...
that the Junior Red Cross collected almost 1 million pounds of scrap 3 months after the war started? Did you, mister? Did you? Did you?
Well, I can't
And
say
did
that...
you know that we donated over $300,000 for relief of children in war zones? Did you? Did you?
Yeah, well, 300,000 bucks.
Did you know the Junior Red Cross sent over 100,000 gift boxes to 33 countries last year? Did you? Did you?
Well, no, I never
I
realized.
bet you didn't even know we donated over 3 million comfort and entertainment items to our armed forces, I bet you.
Well, sis, this begins to sound like an important hunk of business. What's the procedure as to getting the grip and the password?
Well, we...
I says, what does a boy or girl got to do to join up?
Oh, it's easy, mister. All they gotta do is ask their teacher to get in touch with the local Red Cross for complete information.
Well, that's very interesting. And I'm glad you told me about it, sis, because... Hey, wait a minute. But why were you asking about Bob Hope?
Well, we gotta get this message across to a whole lot of people, mister, and I thought if you knew Mr. Hope, maybe you could get him to put it on the radio.
Now, you just sit down there, my boy, and let's talk this thing all over. I'm not going to lecture you. I was a young fellow once myself, but I was ambitious. Started out as a ragged little newsboy. One day, a rich customer gave me a $5 gold piece, thinking it was a quarter, and he was gone before I discovered the mistake. Well, sir, I'll admit I was tempted, but my better judgment won out, and I never told him about it. That's why I always say to you young
McGee,
fellas...
who are you talking to?
Huh? Oh, nobody. Just rehearsing what I'm going to tell Uppington's nephew tonight.
Ragged little newsboy.
Yeah?
Say, you couldn't sell papers at 3% if Mussolini shot Hitler 96-point type. Is the taxi cab here yet?
Nobody's on his way. Doggone, I wish I could think of Uppy's nephew's name. That's mad thing, isn't it?
Well, we're certainly finding out the expensive way. Say, maybe if we call... Oh, there's the cab, dearie. Are you ready?
All set. Come on.
You, Mr. McGee, you call for a cab?
You betcha, Bud. We want to go to that spaghetti place on the corner of 14th and Oak.
Oh, you don't want to go there, Doc. That's a horrible journey.
Huh?
Why, that guy serves a meatball that's strictly a leftover from the National Open. Now, I know a place
Now,
up on...
listen here. Look, driver, we don't want any other place. We want the one at 14th and Oak for a certain reason.
Okay, lady, you're the doctor. And if your husband eats there, he'll need one. Hop in, folks. Well, here you are, folks.
So you better wait for us, driver. We'll only be in here a minute.
Lady, a minute in that joint is the experience of a lifetime. Now, me personally, I got a bad case of romaine eaten in there one night.
You mean ptomaine, Bud. Romaine is a kind of a lettuce.
Well, maybe it was the lettuce, Doc, but it sure give me a bad case of romaine.
Come on, McGee. Can't you hear that meter going jingle, jangle, jingle?
Okay, we'll be back in a minute, Bud.
Well, hello there, kids. Welcome to the Chateau Ravioli.
Well, for goodness sakes, Mr. Oldtimer. How long you been working here?
Seems like ages, daughter. Started this morning. What do you have, kids?
What would you recommend?
I'd recommend you eat someplace else, Johnny.
We didn't come here to eat anyway, old-timer. We just want a little information. You know Mrs. Uppington?
Sure do, Johnny. Ain't she one of them Mabels and Sables that always looks like she was being druv with a check rein?
That's a perfect description. You know, she had a nephew working here a few days ago, and we wanted to find out something about him.
Yeah.
Oh, him. Kind of a musical kid, eh?
Musical?
Yep. Boss caught him playing pennies from heaven on the cash register. Fired him right out on his second day of work.
Well, now tell us, what was his name?
His name?
Name.
Yes, name. N-A-M-E, name. That thing that people always spell wrong in gold letters when they give you a billfold for Christmas.
Oh, his name?
Yeah.
Well, let me think, kids. His name was, dread it, know it as well as I do my own.
Oh, my, this is taking us up more blind alleys than a bowling ball. Where did he go from here, Mr. Oldtimer?
Well, daughter, the fry cook told the dishwasher that the garbage man says the kid got a job down to the city hall.
Oh, City Hall, eh? Must have some influence.
Yes. Probably knows where the tires are buried. Well, come in again, kids. Sometime we ain't hungry.
Thank you, Mr. Oldtimer. Goodbye.
All right, Bud, take us to the City Hall.
Okay, Doc. Any way you say. Mine not to reason why, mine but to do and die. Into the value of death throw to 600. Cannon to the right of 'em. Cannon to the left of 'em. Cannon to the behind of 'em. Cannon. Gee, don't you get a bang out of poetry, Doc?
Look, Swinburne, it isn't your rhyme that frightens us, it's your meter. Let's get going.
Lady, use as the master. I am your slave. Consider my taxicab your magic carpet to whisk you away to far off.
Ah, now he thinks he's Fitzpatrick. Come on, get going.
Doc, use as mundane. Well, the City Hall, folks. The municipal building. The seat of our local government. It's called the seat of government because if you've got any kicks to register...
Oh, please, driver, please. Never mind the vaudeville.
Yeah, and you better wait for us again, too, Bud. We're in this far, we might as well keep on. Come on, Molly.
Okay, dearie. Now, where do we go, McGee?
To the mayor's office. I'm a great believer in going right to the top.
I noticed that when you took me to the show the other night.
Huh?
We sat so high they had oxygen tanks under the seats.
Well, hello there, folks. What goes on?
Hello, Mr. Wilcox.
We got to see the mayor on a little business, Harlow. Hey, do you know Mrs. Uppington's nephew?
No, I can't say I know him exactly. I've met him. Kind of a roughneck. Why?
Well, what's his name?
Well, his name is, well, I know his name as well as I do my own, but I can't remember it.
Nah, nobody can remember that guy's name. He's as anonymous as the Iron Man in the mask.
You mean the man in the iron mask, Fibber?
It was not. It was the Iron Man in the mask.
I think Mr. Wilcox is right, dearie.
Well, I know better, Molly, begging your pardon for the argument. I remember everything I read, word for word.
Do you really?
Yes, I do.
All right. What does the label say?
Oh, he's got you there, McGee.
Oh, no, he hasn't. Now, let me think a minute. It says, it's a marvelous floor polish that needs no rubbing or polishing.
Yeah?
Easy to apply, shines as it dries to a bright, transparent luster.
Right.
Made for use on linoleum, rubber, asphalt base, terrazzo, whatever that is, and varnished or painted wood floor.
Well, how's he doing, Mr. Wilcox?
Why, it's marvelous, word for word. Go on, Fibber.
And it says, especially suited for kitchen linoleum and all floors which are frequently mopped because of ease with which finish can be renewed. Covers 3,000 square feet to the gallon. Keep from freezing, made in the USA. Then on the other side of the container...
Heavenly day.
Fibber, I never heard anything like it. That's terrific. How did you ever learn to do that?
Oh, it's just a trick. Anybody could do it if I told them how.
Well, if your memory is so marvelous, why can't you remember the name of Mrs. Uppington's nephew?
Simply on account of I never read it anyplace.
Well, I'll have to admit, pal, that you're slightly colossal. Wait till I write to people about this. It's amazing. I think I'll go and call them up right now. I'll see you later, folks. And from now on, it's the Iron Man in the mask.
We'll get back to McGee, the youth counselor, in just a moment. Once again, Jim and Marion Jordan as Fibber McGee and Molly.
What's so funny?
I'm just happy he didn't let me try to remember what was on the other side of that container.
Why, didn't you do it?
No. He had one in his pocket, and I could only read the side he had sticking out.
Why, you little fraud, McGee. How could you be so...
Hey, here's the mayor's office. Come on. Hi, Latrivia. Got a minute to spare?
Just about, McGee. Good day, Mrs. McGee.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. We'll get right to the point. Do you know Mrs. Uppington?
Oh, yes, indeed. Very charming woman.
To you, Latrivia, any woman is charming if she's a woman and can vote.
Exactly. And if she votes for me, she's not only charming, but beautiful.
That's the illogical statement I've heard since the Japs said our invasion of Africa was illegal. Look, Mr. Mayor, for certain reasons, we want some information on Mrs. Uppington's nephew.
And we heard he was working here in the city hall.
If he's really working, it's a political novelty of no mean proportions, McGee. What is the young man's name?
We don't know.
Well, how can I give you information about someone whose name you don't even know? I am not a Swami.
So what? I can't swim a stroke myself. All we asked for...
Oh, come. I'm a busy man. I have no time to waste on ridiculous things.
You answered, Mr. Mayor. It's probably for you.
It's quite possible. Excuse me. Mayor's office. My honor speaking.
Big shot.
Oh, yes. Well, there's only one thing to do. Get a gang of huskies and take an axe to them.
What's this?
You heard me. Chop off their heads so nobody will recognize them, see? Then hack off their legs and chop up the bodies and haul them away.
Oh.
No. I'll meet you there at exactly midnight. Oh, stop worrying. I'll handle the police angle. I'll get going. As I was saying, McGee...
We heard every word of it, Trivia. You can't get away with it. You fiend in human form. You axe murderer.
You, Dr. Jello and Mr. Hyde. McGee, what do we do?
Now, look here. If you insist on intruding into the affairs of this office...
Oh, your affairs include murders, and they gangster. Molly, grab that phone and call the police. I'll handle it.
Oh, stop it, McGee. Don't be a fool. Let me explain. Now, let go of me.
Get me the police, quick.
Ow! Fight fair, Latrivia. Quit hitting me on the nose.
Hello, police department. This is the mayor.
Give me that phone. Sergeant, this is the mayor. Forget this call. Now behave yourself, McGee, and go away.
Okay. We'll go right to the newspapers. How do you like those potatoes?
No. Not that, McGee. They'll make an issue of it. They'll ruin me.
And how about all those people you're going to murder?
Yeah.
Those aren't people, they're statues.
Huh?
We're chopping up some old iron statues in the park and turning them in for scrap metal. Now get out, both of you!
All right, driver. We're all ready to go home now.
Okay, lady. Gee, I was beginning to get worried about you.
Why worried, Bud?
Well, I only got a couple of gallons of gas left, see? Though I can get 15 miles to the gallon stop and go, so I can still take you anywhere within a radio of 30 miles.
You mean a radius?
No, I never have time to listen, lady.
Well, take us back to 79 Wistful Vista, Bud.
Oh, wait a minute, McGee. There's Mr. Wimple. Yoo-hoo, Mr. Wimple.
Oh, hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Wimp, old man. You going our way?
Yes, if you're going home, Mr. McGee.
Well, hop right in, Mr. Wimple.
Yeah.
This is simply wonderful of you folks. Won't Cindy Face be surprised when I tell her I had a ride in a real taxi cab?
Where have you been today, Mr. Wimple?
I've been taking my ocarina lesson, Mrs. McGee.
Oh, the sweet potato, eh?
Yes. I've been taking lessons since 1923.
Oh, heavenly days, you must be pretty good. Have you got your ocarina with you?
Oh, no, I haven't got one.
You haven't?
No, I haven't got that far yet.
Boy, Sweetie Face slams you around, Wimp. You better skip the sweet potato and study on the harp.
Oh, she doesn't mean any harm, Mr. McGee. She's just playful.
Oh.
We were playing drop the handkerchief all morning, dear.
Oh, you were really. Was it fun?
Not much. She dropped the handkerchief out the upstairs window, and then I'd have to bring it back in the house.
You mean she made you run all the way down the stairs and get the hanky and run back upstairs with it?
Oh, no, Mr. McGee. She isn't that mean to me. I only had to run upstairs. The handkerchief was in my pocket when she dropped it.
Well, that's different. You know, you're quite a talented man, Mr. Wimple. The way you write poetry and play the ocarina. And...
I used to be very good in a business way, too, Mrs. McGee.
In what, Wimp?
Salesmanship.
Oh.
They called me a red-hot salesman.
What were you selling?
Red hot.
Well, here we are, folks. Safe and sound. That'll be $6.35.
Heavenly day.
Well, it was in a good cause, Molly. Here's $7, Bud. Keep the change. All but 50 cents.
Well, thank you ever so much for the ride, Mr. McGee and Mrs. McGee. Goodbye now.
Goodbye, Mr. Wimple.
Now, so long, Wimp.
Ta-ta, Wally.
Goodbye, Georgie. It was a nice ride.
Gee, thanks, Wally.
Say, do you two know each other?
My goodness, yes. We're old friends. George, this is Mr. and Mrs. McGee.
Oh, yeah, I know. We're old friends, too.
Huh? We are?
Yeah, sure. You remember me. Huh? I'm Mrs. Uppington's nephew, George Uppington.
That's the Fibber McGee and Molly program from November 10th, 1942. In just a moment, we'll be back to explain the Red and the Blue Network. From time to time, we mention the Red and the Blue Network on this program. Here's a little background. At one time, NBC owned two networks, the Blue and the Red Network. Different programs were fed to different stations. Often, NBC had two outlets carrying shows in one city. In the late 1930s, the Federal Communications Commission became concerned about multiple network ownership because of possible monopoly. In 1943, as the FCC was getting ready to release a study, NBC struck a deal to sell the Red Network to Edward J. Noble, the owner of Lifesavers. Thus, the ABC network was born as Noble organized the Red Network into the American Broadcasting Company. This is Victor Ives speaking, thanking you for being with us and inviting you to join us again next time we turn back the clock to relive some more of the golden moments of radio's yesteryear and bring you the greatest radio shows of all time.
For a copy of today's program, call 1-800-326-0296 and refer to show number 30. That number again is 1-800-326-0296. And remember to refer to show number 30.